It's been a rough ride lately for Donald Trump, and we're not just talking about a few bad headlines. From the quiet hum of his golf cart to the roar of a tumbling stock market, Trump somehow managed to swing a few clubs and simultaneously crash economic confidence. That's right. While Americans expected leadership, Trump was out perfecting his backswing, skipping a ceremony honoring fallen US service members. Why? Because let's face it, Trump rarely prioritizes anything that doesn't involve, well, Trump. But here's where things get even more awkward. This weekend, Trump had to pull the plug on a high-profile event. And guess what? It wasn't just a blow to him. It was a public slap to Melania, too. Yep, the former First Lady got caught up in the fallout. The cancellation wasn't just inconvenient, it was downright humiliating. So what caused all this chaos? Massive protests. We're talking serious heat on the White House front lawn. And no, not just the DC summer sun. Panic is setting in behind those big white pillars, and we're diving into exactly why Trump is reportedly fuming behind closed doors. But before we break it all down, and from the chants in the streets to the silence in Trump's war room, do me a quick favor. If you're enjoying this kind of coverage, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. It truly helps keep this independent commentary going strong. Now, back to the action. We've got footage from today's protests, including a fiery clip from Congressman Eric Swalwell speaking at the Hands Off DC rally. Take a listen. This is the energy that has Team Trump sweating bullets.
This is what kicking the shit out of fascism looks like. This is what it looks like. We've seen a lot of people cave to fascism in America. We're not. We've seen the CEOs cave. Will you cave? We've seen the law firms cave. Will you cave? We've seen the colleges cave. Will you cave? We can't cave. My name's Eric Swalwell. I'm the son of a cop, a mom who was a baker, and I went to college as the first in the family on a soccer scholarship. And before every big game, before every season, the coach would tell us, I want you to close your eyes and think about what does that last moment of the game look like? And I want you to think as we begin this season of democracy, what does the last moment of this march look like? We win! That's what it looks like. It's justice. It's redemption. It's accountability. And it's renewal. Because as you stand here right now, we have gone from a Trump slump to a Trump train wreck. We are going into a red recession. Our 401ks are 201ks. Our costs at Walmart and Home Depot and Target, where 4 out of 5 of the things we buy are from overseas, are going up. And where is Donald Trump? He's golfing. So to Donald Trump, I say, get your ass off the golf course and face the people. America first. It's Trump first. This guy is a con. Trump Bibles, made in China. Trump sneakers, made in China. The Trump coin, made on a computer, made in China. And he's not just disappearing people. He's disappearing rights. And to that we say, disappear, we're still here. Our veterans, we're still here. We're still here. We're still here. That's right. And he wants to disappear our veterans and women and hardworking immigrants and our seniors and our kids and the sick. We're still here. So you are asking us, what is the plan? And I'll tell you this. We are not going to give a single vote to fascism inside the Congress because we know you're fighting outside the Congress. And so small victories will bring us big victories. We had a victory last Tuesday in Wisconsin. Thank you. We need a victory later this year in New Jersey and Virginia in the governor's race. And then we're going to march all the way to the midterms, and we're going to win on November 4, and we're going to cut our time in hell in half. So what my colleagues and I want to ask you, because just about a mile from here on January 6, 2021, we saw the bravest police officers. They showed up and they defended our democracy.
There were some truly powerful moments today. Speeches that stirred hearts and crowds that sent a message loud and clear. We're going to take a closer look at some of those incredible images a little later on, but let me just say, the energy out there, unstoppable. I caught part of it myself here in New York City, but this wasn't just a local thing. This was a national wave. Tens of thousands took to the streets in cities like Chicago. Even in Utah, yes, Utah, the turnout was absolutely wild. Huge protests, real passion. It honestly blew me away. And then there was Washington, D.C., the scene? Electric. So many people on the ground, so many voices raised. And the coverage coming out of the Capitol today, nothing short of phenomenal. But you know what might be even more powerful than what we did see? What we didn't see. Because while all of this was going down, Donald Trump had to quietly cancel a major event. Why? Because these protests weren't just loud, and they were effective. The pressure, the optics, the sheer scale of it all forced Trump to retreat, and we're going to dive into exactly what happened and why it sent shockwaves through his inner circle. So let's break it all down. Here's the full story, and trust me, you're going to want to see this. Melania Trump reschedules White House tradition due to protests. First Lady Melania Trump's office is rescheduling Saturday's White House Spring Garden tours over concerns about nationwide protests. More than 1,100 hands-off rallies are being held across the country to protest Donald Trump's political, economic, health, and social policies. The movement, which also takes aim at Elon Musk, Department of Government Efficiency, and its gutting of the federal government, is expected to be the largest single-day protest since Trump took office in January. The Washington, D.C. event is taking place at the Washington Monument about a mile from the White House, but out of an abundance of caution, the First Lady's office announced it's canceling Saturday's garden tours. The annual event is free and open to the public, but requires tickets. Saturday. Ticket holders should come anytime on Sunday instead, while Sunday ticket holders should come at the regular times listed on their tickets, the White House said. Panic at the White House, canceled events, protests, and Melania's latest embarrassment. There's palpable panic setting in at the White House. How do we know? Events are suddenly being canceled, and the administration's reaction to growing protests is making headlines. But it's not just the energy of the crowds that's catching attention. It's the fear setting in behind those closed doors. And honestly, that fear is starting to feel like vindication for the people who've been speaking out for years. People are out there, energized, feeling like they've got their agency back, and that's powerful. But clearly, it's also making those inside the White House sweat. Not that we'd accuse them of having hearts over there, but if they did, they'd be racing right now. But wait, it gets messier. Because in the middle of all this, Melania Trump is facing a brand new wave of embarrassment. And it's not just tabloid drama, it's national security level drama. A figure from Donald Trump's past love life has suddenly reappeared. And let's just say, it's not just awkward, it's potentially dangerous. Allegations suggest this person could be compromising sensitive information, and the implications are serious. For a deeper dive into this explosive twist, let's turn it over to Tim Miller, who's got more on how this tangled personal scandal could have very real consequences for national security.
Laura Loomer is such a wild-eyed conspiracy theorist. I mean, she's an unapologetic. I think you had quotes in the intro. White nationalist, like, has said that about herself, like cheered the deaths of Muslims, said that like she hopes for more. I mean, like a just nasty person. I will say, when I was at a bar one time when Carrie Lake accosted me, and Laura Loomer did de-escalate, so I don't have any personal things against her, so I appreciated that. But she is
Are they friends?
Didn't seem like it. She's a crazy person, and anybody who doesn't believe it could just Google Laura Loomer crazy or just look at her X feed if they wanted to get a sense for this. The fact that she is in the White House talking to the president saying you should fire people who are in charge of national security, and he apparently said, okay, Laura, great, and fired a couple of people who are in his National Security Council or support the National Security Advisor. And That's how the country's being run. And we have a Fox and Friends weekend host that is running the military, so it shouldn't be that surprising. But I think that it is really just important to marinate on that the people with power in the White House or outside the White House are these extreme fringe conspiracy theorists that have big followers online, and that they can dictate who is in charge of our country's security, your family's security. And just on this point, one other thing, over at the DOJ today, they had a briefing at the Department of Justice, and it was Bannon, Benny Johnson, and it was just a whole rogues gallery of Loomer-esque weirdos that were having a briefing at the DOJ about the politicization of our government. So, Justice Department, national security decisions are being decided by MAGA conspiracy bloggers. So that should help you sleep at night.
Laura Loomer is back, and not quietly. She's coming in hot, taking aim at, of all things, the one part of the government that was arguably functioning the best, our national security team. Yeah, let that sink in. I hope you know I'm joking, because the idea of Loomer anywhere near the White House is like handing a toddler the nuclear codes. Tim Miller said it best, but seriously, can we please just get real for a second? How is this even a thing? Why is this a thing? This right here shows exactly how little Donald Trump actually cares. Like I said in a previous video, does this man even remember there's an election coming up? And listen, I'm not one to throw out wild conspiracies or be overly dramatic, but there's this vibe coming out of the Trump camp right now that just screams, we don't care, we'll do whatever we want. It's reckless, it's toxic, and honestly, it's terrifying. Which is exactly why these public pressure campaigns, the protests, the organizing, the relentless accountability, are so important, because guess what? They're working, they're shaking things up, and they're scaring the folks in the White House. Scaring them so much, in fact, that Elon Musk himself has decided to jump in, posting completely unhinged rants online just to deflect. And yes, he even came after Rachel Maddow. Spoiler alert, she had thoughts. So let's take a quick look at what she had to say, and then we'll break down Elon's little baby meltdown.
Feels like it, right? That said, may I suggest that you go to bed kind of early, hydrate, eat your Wheaties in the morning, maybe put off the Friday night cocktail to make it a Saturday night cocktail this week, if at all. I'm only saying that because tomorrow is going to be very busy. Saturday is going to be very busy. I said at the top of the show, there are more than 1,200 protests planned for tomorrow in all 50 states. I stand corrected. It is more than 1,300 protests planned in all 50 states. It's expected to be the largest single day of protest since Donald Trump took office. Joining us now is Ezra Levin. He's co-founder of Indivisible, which is one of the groups that is promoting these events tomorrow. Ezra, thanks very much for joining us tonight. You were here just a couple of 3 weeks ago talking about the earliest idea for April 5th being sort of a hub for events all over the country and in Washington.
So Rachel Maddow was covering these historic protests, real journalism, actual reporting, and naturally that sort of thing just scratches away at whatever slimy outer layer Elon Musk has on his weird robot body, and like clockwork, he couldn't resist jumping into the discourse. A right-wing conspiracy account, one of those accounts, started claiming that George Soros was funding the protests across the country. Millions of people marching, apparently all being paid in pennies. Totally legit stuff. And Elon, he decided to confirm the theory. Tweeted something like, "They will be." Classic. And listen, this is honestly my favorite thing Elon's doing lately. The Soros scare campaign. Just this recycled nonsense that George Soros is buying votes, paying off protesters, writing checks from some secret vault under the Alps or something. It's giving Bond villain with a spreadsheet. But here's the part that truly melts my brain, because while Elon is out here yelling about Soros allegedly handing out checks to buy influence, isn't that exactly what he's doing? Billionaire writes huge checks to manipulate outcomes. Elon, babe. You're describing yourself. I mean, the irony is so loud, it's practically screaming. Sorry, went a little manic there for a second. It's just so absurd that Elon Musk, of all people, is out here accusing someone else of corrupting democracy when he's spent how much this year alone trying to buy elections, install judges, and rewrite the rules. But hey, good news? At least he's finally facing some blowback. Elon's getting dragged, getting fired from boards, and watching his golden boy image crack like one of his Teslas in a safety test. And honestly, that brings me just a little peace. Hope it brings you some too. We'll try to keep some good news flowing on this channel. If you want to support that, make sure to hit the subscribe button, leave a like, and if you made it all the way to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Let's spread some solidarity, not billionaire nonsense.